I'm Rosa Mendez, and I'm here at the #1 Long Island broadcast, Monty and Pharaoh. I had the best time ever!
Hey, listen, Daddy, you're listening to the #1 broadcast, Monty and Pharaoh, Daddy, in Long Island. The best pro wrestling broadcast of all time, I think.
Jimmy, I got to tell you, man, it feels good to be back on YouTube. It was quite disappointing what happened to us, but we bounced back fairly quickly.
Well, what else would we do? We're almost at 5,000 subscribers.
Well, speaking of that, man, we need more members.
Okay.
What do you think we need to do to get the people of those 5,000 subscribers to come on and join the team as a Monty and the Pharaoh member?
Nudity is out of the question. Any other ideas?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do have a few ideas.
Well, just like Prel, they should tell 2 friends, and they could tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Check out all our content.
But that's, you know what? That's why you're the star of the show, because guess what? Members get special content. Even we spoke about it. Pharaoh came to me one day and he goes, man, what's the deal? I can't even watch some of these videos because I'm not a member. And I said, there you go, Pharaoh. You got to be a member because this is what the members get. They get free content
Nice.
that none of the other fans that watch this show get.
That's right.
You get free autographs from some of these wonderful stars that come in, right?
Nice.
All you do is you go to the MNP webpage, or right, our own page, and shoot us an email and say, hey, man, I want a picture of Tommy Rich. I want a picture of whatever. And boy, that's on its way.
We give them their choice.
That's right.
We rock.
We do rock.
And you need to rock, too. Join.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast. Monty the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV, straight out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island. At the desk, or the production area. Jared, how are you, bud?
I don't have my mic.
He doesn't have his mic.
We are rocking right now. We are an hour late. We don't have our mic set.
We are on a roll.
Your script is printing
My
out like
script
shit.
looks like a blind man couldn't make it out. Anyway, well, a
more
blind man couldn't make out
importantly,
anything.
We do have
Anyway.
Marty Jannetty in, but before we get to Marty, real quick.
Yeah.
Saturday's Kentucky Derby Day, buddy.
Oh,
Churchill
okay.
Downs suspends trainer Safi Joseph Jr. after sudden death of 2 horses.
What?
Churchill Downs suspended the trailer Safi Joseph Jr. on Thursday after 2 of his horses suddenly died.
What, did he pump them full of roids? Horse roids?
Maybe.
What the hell would cause 2 horses' hearts to suddenly cease?
And that's why they suspended him.
Horse trainer.
What's that?
My baby mama, she's a horse trainer. She would know. You want me to
Well,
call
yeah,
her?
what does that?
Well, we can't call her now, but yeah, we should find out what he
I'll
really
ask her
did.
this. She's big into training. them,
Yeah.
doing what
If
they
people
need.
don't know, that is the
That's
voice
Marty.
of the legend,
Yeah.
Marty Jannetty, who's
That's
in
right.
studio.
He has
which,
no camera.
He has no camera.
Which camera do I look
There
at?
you are. Just look straight
just
ahead.
look
You're
straight
doing
ahead,
good,
bro.
No, not at us.
Oh,
Straight
and
ahead.
you're sporting your Cinco de Mayo
Monty and the Pharaoh.
Monty and the Pharaoh shirt,
Yeah.
which looks good on you.
Nice.
Before we get to you, Marty, got to do a few things. I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monty the Pharaoh, and Jimmy Farrow, you know that guy, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This
Great
Life,
songs.
Not Far Behind, Here Comes
Great.
the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page. Download
Find
on
it.
Spotify, Apple Music, or Reverb Nation. You like Wisteria Hall, Marty?
Of course he does.
Material Ray.
That's
Who?
my band. You better like it. Don't you place that? You say yes.
Oh, I got you.
They're
Yes.
fantastic, right? Best
You
thing
got a band?
best thing since the Beatles, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Go along with it. Good job,
He's
Marty. You
doing-
you're rolling.
he's
You're all right.
killing
Symphony
it.
of silence. I mean, sympathy.
What was that? He prefers silence?
Symphony of silence.
No,
One of
my
the
God.
best bands ever.
That's great.
What's their name?
Symphony of Silence.
What's the name of his band?
Wisteria Hall.
Symphony. You try to fuck with me.
I had to tip him off. That's all. Wait a minute. You're not doing anything, but you're not helping at all.
If you didn't know, you are
Yeah, if
watching
you didn't
Long Island's
know.
#1 pro
Number
wrestling
one.
broadcast,
That's
Monty the
us.
Pharaoh. You can catch us on the Monty
Me
the
and
Pharaoh
this guy.
YouTube page,
Oy.
Monty the Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio,
Hear
Spotify,
us.
Anchor, Twitch
you want me
TV,
right
Monty
here?
the Pharaoh page. Catch
Yes.
us in New York
Come
on
back,
channel
lady, forward.
115
Catch
every
us.
Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturday at 11:30
Where's
a.m.
Pharaoh time? Where's the 1
There's a
o'clock
guy
in the
that got rid of
morning?
that.
Why'd you get rid of Pharaoh?
Channel 20 at Tuesday at 7
He's got a
PM.
mask on now. Why does he have a mask on?
I have no idea.
What are you saying? The show stinks?
Also,
what are you
please
getting at?
download
No, I was
Intuitive, INTUITEIVE.
You said
sorry,
load.
Network, where you can catch Monty the Pharaoh. We are not going to commercial break,
Oh, no way.
Jared, because
No,
we
are
have
not.
Marty Jannetty in
Oh!
studio. Hey!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nickelback
Marty, why
song.
do you look like the Invisible Man? What the fuck is going on here, Claude Rains?
Well, I started with this. They said COVID was over, but your breath.
Oh, wow! Well, you smell the lip all the way from here?
But I heard in New York
Damn.
City that if you dress up like this, you can rob anywhere and get away with it.
Okay.
They'll let you out. They won't even
Okay.
hold you. I better
All
not
right.
go there.
I'd be worried if I was
better
at the
leave all
cashier
that
and you
alone.
walked in
Never
looking
mind,
like
let me
that,
leave that
but,
in Florida.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Crime scene Jannetty.
So,
He's
Marty,
ready to go.
you're going to 80s Con tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
What are you thinking about that?
Can I really take this off? The COVID's over.
By
right?
all means,
By all
Marty,
means,
let us
please,
see
people
yourself.
would like to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
What I do
real.
today, I
Remove the
got
This
nothing.
is
mask,
the real
will
Marty.
you?
This is the real Marty Jannetty.
He's almost there. There he is. Yeah.
Yes,
What
yes.
am I looking at? Which camera?
Just you look straight ahead at that thing in front of you. There you go.
That
You're
dark
good.
one?
Yeah, that one right there. You're doing
Leave
great.
it to the producer. He's got a whole
What the-
bunch of angles
what
on you. You're
the-
good.
And the mic
Marty.
mic check's good.
You can fart sideways. It's
But
going to
y'all
look
gonna
good.
leave your glasses on.
Leave 'em on.
And sound good.
80s wrestling
But
con,
that's y'all's
brother.
gimmick. Yeah, tomorrow, Morristown,
Okay.
New Jersey.
Gotcha.
Short trip too. I think it's only like 40. Why am I yelling? Am I yelling?
No,
No, you're fine. You're
yelling?
fine.
Short trip for us. I mean, which was always good. Man, it's been a long 2 days. But I've enjoyed it. And here, this should be the main event. This should have been the last thing I did.
This is the main event, right? But
It
you know,
is the
you
main
when
event
you
early.
used
It's like Hogan. Hogan
like-
was the main event at Madison Square Garden.
you go.
But he'd go on fourth right before intermission, so he'd scoot out there and wouldn't hit the crowd afterwards, you know. And we'd be in the middle match, and we had to go on last. Now we hit the crowd. Okay, thanks, Hulk.
Well, first of all, we want to say we're sorry that you could have came under better circumstances. We understand that you're with Eric Sims this weekend, and we really feel bad for you.
no, it's not bad. It's not bad. He's lost his wallet twice, and didn't know it though. I found it for him.
Why'd you find it? Was there anything in it?
There's not now.
Nice. Crime scene
And I will
Jannetty.
give him back some what he had in it if he pays me correctly at the end of this.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Eric was a
fair.
little upset with us because yesterday while you were on
no. Here we go.
T-Mart signing, we were discussing Eric and how much he loves himself, and we put a picture of him up there.
He stands in the mirror and combing his hair, and it's just this little bit.
What does
The
that
li-
take,
yeah,
like
the little
5
bit.
seconds? What do you mean combing his hair?
I caught him doing it. So what
Look,
are you doing?
we got a
He's gonna
picture.
comb the last
We've
few
got
you got out.
we've
Look at
given a
this.
lot of the fans out there nightmares with the Eric Sims picture. But
Oh, I saw that. That was good. You sent it to my phone. I just pictured it and come right away, and you said, "Watch this guy, or don't let him touch your ass or something." I'm like, "What's he talking about?" Later, the picture came through. Then I was like, "Oh, okay."
yeah, who's this guy?
What kind of food have you been given since you hooked up with Sims on this particular trip?
Say again?
Have you been fed well?
Oh yeah, we've hit every McDonald's you can find.
Wow.
What do you get, a kid's meal, Happy Meal?
No, it wasn't happy, but it was kids.
We were talking the other day, right?
No toy surprise inside.
There's a
huh?
good one.
That's
though.
nothing.
Marty was
That's
telling
rough.
me he finally saw a video of the Iron Sheik slapping the shit out of Sims, right? You enjoyed
Were you
it.
jealous as you
and
saw?
I got on to him about it. I said, "What did you do to Sheik? He wouldn't do that. He was upset at Warrior. He wasn't upset at me. Well, he didn't slap Warrior."
That's logical, Captain. Logical.
And
Quite
then you
logical.
told me Luna got him.
Yeah, she don't like him either.
And
What's up with that?
You know, Luna she could snap real quick. You know, God bless her. You know, rest in peace. Love her to death. She was a good friend. Yeah, she could be a wild one. She would fight before the guys would when we go out to the bars. And if the guys were acting ass, of course she was a girl. I guess that you wasn't sure though. Remember she shaved her heads, and when she, what do you want to do? What do you want to do, you punk?
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't know, is that a
Wait a
guy?
minute,
Is that,
In
she's
real
intimidating.
life, in
She's
real life, in the
intimidating.
bar, she would talk to
Yeah.
you like that?
I bet.
This one plate, yeah. That's her
believe it.
real voice. Yeah,
I
she had a
believe it.
scratchy voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she could talk soft. Yeah, I love you. It was still going to be a little grovel to it.
Was she like this? Like, Marty, oh, dude.
So I have to be
Do
nice
me?
to this,
Is that
'cause,
what
you know,
you get?
Gangrel is a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
Gangrel's cool.
Does he still go by that? Yeah, he does. The Grail, yeah. Y'all know the Vampire Warrior. Not
Sure.
Vampire Warrior,
Absolutely.
the Vampire
He's awesome.
blood-sucking, fanging and banging brother. He's a good friend. So, they were together for so long that I don't want to say any things that he don't need to hear.
Yeah, but bro, gender aside, Luna beat the shit out of most guys. True?
I'm thinking of one time we was in Albany, New York, and we went to this little bar, like a little small dive bar, but it was the only thing we could find. It was me and Smoking Guns. Remember Bart and Jeff?
Sure.
And it later, but they split up and I guess went in different directions. Poor Bart had to fight Butterbean.
Yeah, we know how that went. Yeah.
Oh God, I
not
felt
too
so
well.
bad. Bart was a bad boy, and Butterbean evidently is too.
Yeah.
I think Bart could have got him if he would just stayed away the first round, let him blow himself up.
It is what it is.
But that punch,
Boom!
It was one of the ugliest knockouts. His back of his head hit every rope on the way down. Oh man! And that was it. I mean, from what I understand, Vince was like, "We can't bring you back now."
Damn.
But he still did good. I guess he went to Japan.
So it did end his career, basically, though.
Yeah, for WWE it did.
I thought we were talking about Luna.
We were.
Yeah,
So
so
what
what
happened?
happened?
What happened here?
That's
Marty.
brother's got ADHD.
But
up the
anyway,
ass,
Marty,
man.
getting back to the basic thing, though, in the bar, though, guys wouldn't fuck with Luna. She'd beat their ass.
Well, I was
right?
going to tell you, she would take up for us before we could.
Yeah.
The guys were kind of smart. And, the guns were tall. They were like 6'5", both
Did
of
the
them.
boys respect her? I would hope so.
Oh, yes. Well,
Good.
her dad would have showed up. They didn't.
Good. Good.
But she was respectable anyway.
Yeah.
She never did anything outside the lines. She never did shit. She didn't do like Sonny. And I love Sonny to death.
I got you.
As a co-worker or whatever, however you say that. But but she was back then we used to get upset because you got 30 guys, 40 guys on the card, and you got Sherry Martel or you got Sonny, and they're gonna get a whole dressing room at the LA Arena, and we're gonna all pile in 40
Like
of
sardines.
them, so one person. But
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. It's a girl. She can't dress with us.
How'd you
Even-
feel
even
with?
though
How'd
now
you feel
with
with
the transgender they
I'm
do?
sorry,
but-
Marty. How did you feel with Sonny's recent, legal problems? Does that like really bother you? What does Marty Jannetty
I feel
about
bad for her because I like her. I liked. I probably am one of the only guys that wasn't with her though, because man, can't talk about that, can we?
Why not? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I like her to death as a friend, and she was Chris's girl to me, and always will be.
Right.
And he loved her to death, and he had to fight for her so much.
Well, let me ask you this, right? So you bring that up, and this has always been a problem with us, and we've asked many wrestlers this. I don't think we ever asked you this.
No.
And it's funny, we'll parlay into something else.
We'll
right
get back
after.
to Luna though.
Yeah.
So we'll just count how many open-end stories we leave.
Yeah, you ain't
That's
kidding.
one.
How did you feel, right? Chris is your boy, and then your former partner, Sean, was like having sex with Sonny and behind his back.
The good part for me was I never actually had to see it. I mean, the actual act.
Right.
I know one time at the LA Arena, I mean, I knew that, I knew Sonny, I hate to say it, and I love you, Sonny, and I hope you get out of prison soon. I think she's in for a while, right? Mm-hmm.
Probably life, but that's...
Could be. It
if
could be.
not
We'll
10
see.
years. And that sucks, man, because she's not an evil person. She just couldn't control the alcohol, And I know what that's like. I had a problem one night. I couldn't stop all night. And it might have been the time I went 2 days in a row.
Well, not to bring you down on this,
Maybe
Marty,
three, maybe
but,
four.
But I'm sure that the wife of the gentleman that she killed probably feels a little bit different. But
Marty, what
Did
would
they
you say?
die?
Marty, what would you say?
She
I
killed
thought, I
someone.
didn't know they died. I thought
Yeah.
they were waiting.
Marty,
No,
what would
she
you what would you
killed
say?
somebody.
What would
Oh,
you
that-
say
damn,
to
that
Son-
changes
What would you say
everything.
to Sonny if you could say something now to her? What would you say to her?
Damn, girl. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, there's nothing helped. And so the person died. So now that's manslaughter, vehicular manslaughter,
Mm-hmm.
and you ended a life. And I can tell you this, and I hope my niece. I'm sure you don't mind, Lisa. My niece just went through a traumatic thing where she hit a guy in the road. She was going around the curb on a highway. A bunch of homeless people are known to live in the woods right there. And whatever they do, shoot up. Am I looking at y'all or should I look straight ahead?
You're doing
You
fine.
can-
You
Don't
can look
matter.
any way you want, Marty. It's
Okay.
all good.
Well, I don't want
Continue.
to shun the people at home watching.
No.
But
All good.
yeah, so she comes around a corner. It is sort of on a hill. You can't really see. She's she's looking towards the woods to see if any of they're like zombies. They shoot up or do whatever they do, and they come zoom, 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 out into the highway. And so she's looking that way to make sure none are coming around, and she turns around and one right in front of her standing there, and poop poop, she hit him. I know what that sound is like. She told me that she can't get it out of her head. This is only like 5 weeks ago. This is kind of fresh. And it ties into with Sonny. So I'm sorry if it's going a long route to tell.
I gotcha.
She's a very big time good Christian girl. She was coming home from working at the church late when she hit the guy. But she said, I can't get seared in her brain that sound with he hit the front, where she hit the front, and he flew into her windshield and then off. And I told her to be happy you didn't wreck and hurt yourself, but she managed to bring the car to stop, and she was just froze. And other people came out. He ended up in the hospital, and for days she didn't know if he was going to live, and it just tore her up because everybody had told her that you weren't at fault, and on top of it, this is my great city of Columbus, Georgia. 5 people had been hit in the last 2 years. I think 3 of them had died. That same right there, where the people wandering to a highway.
Right.
J.R. Allen Parkway, I think it's a parkway. Cars are not going 30 miles an hour, and she was just getting on, so she was picking up to blend in with that traffic going fast, and when she hit. But her big thing, everybody was trying to tell her, console her, and say, no, there was witnesses that saw it. And plus one girl had called in and said, I just called 911 because I almost hit him. And I called 911. I wish they could have got there sooner. She wouldn't have to deal with this. She was going to be at no fault, but that did her no good. She was like, no, this is a life. If this person dies, I ended a life. That's the only way she could look at it. She couldn't look at it like they were at fault. You're not going to get in any trouble. Her only concern was she was responsible for life ending. It wasn't her fault, but still, she was involved in life ending. So, if Sonny did that drunk, shouldn't she feel worse than what my niece did? She should not want out of jail.
That would actually be accountability and remorsefulness and empathy.
Does Sonny have any? You know her. Does she have account? It doesn't seem like it over the years. Maybe I'm being judgmental, but it's kind of hard not to at this point.
She's I don't want to say a sociopath, because I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. But, sociopaths really have no bad feelings for anything except that they only get upset if it affected them. They don't feel empathy or sympathy, for anything. And I don't, as much as I love her to death as my friend, and Chris weren't they married? I think they were married.
They might as well have been.
Might as well. They've
one
been
way or
together
the other.
Since kids, yeah.
Right.
And as his girl that he cared so much about.
Yep.
I loves her that way. Loves her respect and care.
But can I ask you this?
Yes, sir.
You said you were glad you weren't there to see it, so it bothered
you mean the sex part with Sean?
Right. It bothered you then that she was treating Chris Candido this way.
And my partner didn't mind it. We were all friends.
Would Marty Jannetty ever stop to turn to Shawn Michaels and say, why are you doing this?
No, because at that point, Sean was in his bubble where he was untouchable. He would have just said...
Was he already isolating you out of the picture?
Pretty much, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was after we split off, and he just wanted distance from me. Plus, I love you to death, Sean. You know that. You've already admitted how you were back in those days. He's admitted. He goes, I was hard to deal with, and there's a better term, but he didn't say I was a dickhead. But plenty of the guys have said it for him.
So you forgive Sean.
Okay, so now jumping back, we're going to skip the Lisa story of my niece. The guy didn't die, and that was good for her.
Good.
She felt well, but she still wants to meet him, which we're afraid that's going to jar her back to the side, because she went into deep depression over it.
I bet.
And again, it was not because she did something wrong, or you're worried about getting vehicular manslaughter or something. No, she didn't. She wanted to. She goes, I should get punished. I should. If I ended somebody's life, I should get punished. But it wasn't. It was never that. But she just cared a life was going to end, because she figures, and she had said, God brought them into the world. It's not me that should take them out. And no matter what, if they were drugged up or whatsoever, it's not for me to do that. And that's accountability, like you said. But so now jumping back to, it was at the L.A. Arena. I probably shouldn't be telling this because Sean and I are on good terms, and Sonny, I guess she can't ever come and slap me or slap at me. She's not going to be around anymore. But Chris was looking for her, the L.A. Arena, and she got her own dressing room like we was just talking about, and he knew exactly where she was at. He could be in there with her. There shouldn't be any other guys in her dressing room. And he goes to the door and it's locked. I may have said this before on here on one of the episodes. I know I've told it somewhere, and I shouldn't have probably. but it's old news. That was 1990, 5 or 6 or some shit. But her door was locked, and he's, once the end's knocking, and it's locked. It's locked from the inside, so somebody's in there. And he knew that somebody, not sure who, it could have been Davey Boy Smith. It could have been. I didn't know about the Bret Hart. Until I heard about this, there's been Sunny Days or something like that. That whole deal.
Any
and I
validity?
don't know. I never saw no.
There was nothing to that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying that.
You truly don't know.
I truly don't know. I never saw no evidence of it.
But it could have been Davey Boy Smith.
It could have been. There
That's
was one time when she told Davey, the partitions that divide the dressing room. One time there were so many boys. I think it was a TV taping, and you couldn't, pile all the guys in one room and give the girl one room, or Sherry one, her or Sherry a room. So they put them little partition things to divide a room, but it's just like you can pull it, like a mobile blocker thing to divide the room. You can hear through them because they're not up to the ceiling, and there's a little 4-inch gap at the bottom. So you can basically hear, you just can't see. And a couple of the guys overheard Sonny telling Davey, he was over on that side. She goes, "When everybody's gone, come back here and lift my dress and fuck the hell out of me from behind. Fuck the hell out of me from behind." And we all heard it. We're like, "Oh my God, we got to make sure. What do we do? Do we go tell Chris you better stay over there, and what do we do here?"
Take pictures?
Yeah, take picture. Lean under the little thing and take a picture. Tell Sonny, we heard that.
Yeesh.
God, I got seconds. I got next. Whatever.
Damn.
But so on the L.A. thing, though, this is how much Sean was in his bubble and protected. He didn't have to worry about nothing. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say any bad stuff about you, Sean. This was back in '96 or '95.
Marty, this had to piss you off. Come on.
But this particular.
The way he's isolating you and shit like that. I mean, that had to piss you off.
I'd seen so much that was just another day.
All right, so go ahead. Let me hear this story.
To finish this one, so Sean's music plays. He's up. I was at the curtain with Willie Nelson. I think it might have been not WrestleMania, but Willie did sing at one of WrestleMania 7. Some celebrity was doing the national anthem. I'm sitting there with them talking. I think it was that bodybuilding girl, that Miss Olympia, that Corey Everson.
Corey Everson. Yeah.
I think me and her were sitting there talking, and people thought Jeff, her husband, thought Hulk and her. For some reason, she was hanging around backstage, and I can tell you that story too later. But so anyway, Sean's music plays. Sure enough, the door comes flying open to Sonny's room. He's coming out. His hair's all muffled up, a little bit of sweat. Maybe it was warm in the dressing room. Who knows?
Yeah, warm.
Yeah.
And
And Chris is standing there. "What are you doing in her room, Sean?" And he's like, "Get the fuck out of the way. My music's playing." And Chris just stepped aside, like, "Okay." Just like that was it. I mean, I guess you got to feel untouchable when you get caught by the husband or boyfriend,
and you don't care.
And you're,
my
I'm
music's
sure
playing.
he was scared to death, because Chris might have whooped him. I don't know. That we don't need to even get into that. But when your girl's being screwed, somebody screwing your girl, you get stronger than what you are, And the person that's in the wrong kind of shrinks a little, So, Chris might have, done something, but because Sean's in that power position, he's Vince's guy. Get out of the way, my music's playing. He just stepped aside like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the way.
Wow.
Sort of like that.
Wow.
And he went to the ring, and that was the end of that. But I was just like, that just made me look at Sonny bad. I mean, Sean is going to do Sean, and Sonny does Sonny, I guess.
So Marty, we talk often, but I have a little bone to pick with you.
What kind of bone?
Out of nowhere, Dark Side of the Ring announces this episode, and
yeah.
who's appearing on Dark Side of the Ring is the great Marty Jannetty.
You!
And you never mentioned a word.
I'm good like that.
So you're bad like
Fill
that.
us in.
What do you mean?
What happens? How do you end up getting an episode on Dark Side of the Ring?
Well, let me tell the backstory of that. When I was, to beat Sean for the Intercontinental belt, they had a thing where I come out of the audience and do that. If y'all remember that episode where my friend took me to the airport. His name was Curtis Burris, one of my best friends since 10 years old. I did my first job in wrestling when I was 10 years old. And what it was Curtis was kind of a little kid on the block, and I was able to do pretty good for myself at that age, and so a lot of little punk ass kids around, and they picked on Curtis. I love Curtis, and I'm friends with them, and they don't want to bother with messing with me at that time, So I told Curtis, I said, man, stop letting them be. He goes, well, what can I do? Just run away. I said, I tell you what. When everybody's starting to come around, we'll give a little shouting match and a shoving match, and you just jump me and get on top and punch away. He goes, punch away. I said, well, don't hit as hard as you can, but punch away. So the other kids saw him beat me up, and they're like, holy shit, and they left him alone. They're like, okay, well, we're not going to mess with Curtis no more because evidently he's tough ass. So that was my first job ever. So Curtis is responsible for me getting into wrestling. First job I ever did. But so he took me 30 years later, he's taking me to the airport. I told him I had to do an Independence show. And I said, I'm going to miss Monday Night Raw because I flew in that day. Will you please tape it for me? I want to keep up with the storylines. He goes, yeah, no problem. I'm going to watch it, so I'll tape it. And I said, yeah, watch it and let me know what they do tonight. Because I'm trying to keep up with whatever storyline was a back storyline. And you have me, remember, I'm in the audience, Sean goes, I'll take on anybody, anywhere, anytime. And then I come out of the audience with the hood on, the sunglasses like this, and the hoodie. And, climb on up in the ring, Sean, like this punk. Who is this punk wants to take me on? Man, why don't you go back and you bought a ticket, you're a ticket buyer. Or whatever he was saying. And he's fair. I took the glasses off and peeled the thing off. And then we had, it was one of my favorite moments. Good reaction. Everything went good. But Curtis did what you're doing. He goes, you son of a bitch. He goes, I watched the guy come out of the audience with, all hidden and sunglasses and all that. And I'm like, oh, this guy's, he may give Sean a run for his money. This guy, and he goes, and you took the shit off and I saw you. And he goes, it rang my bell. It dawned on me that that's the shit he was wearing when I took him to the airport. And he goes, I didn't even realize it was you when I saw you. But because I believe in the old school way of, if you're going to do a shock type of thing, well, don't tell everybody. Right. I mean, I know now they do teasers before the show. They did one time when I showed up to take on Kennedy. It was like it was a spontaneous. I just show up and I'm gonna take care of Kennedy for giving Sean grief or whatever. And it's supposed to be a surprise, a shock. And then you're reading on the internet a surprise appearance tonight by Marty Jannetty. Well, what the fuck, man? And now that's common practice, So that's one of the ways that shit has changed. But so I still like it. I always think it works best when you really do shock them. To tell them we're going to shock you, it still might get some value, but I mean, you don't get the same values if they didn't know, And it was the same thing with Dark Side. And they had asked me, they had said, don't say anything until we're ready to start hyping it, advertising it.
Not even to Monty and the Pharaoh don't say anything?
They did have you on the list that we could tell.
What the fuck, Marty?
Sure they did.
You
Marty.
call them 6 times a week because the bagels are overpriced in your area, but you can't fill them in on this? That's fucked up.
And two, to be honest, I kind of was like a little nervous about this show, because look at the name of it. Dark Side of the Ring. Right?
Oh, Dark Side of the
You
Ring.
know, and a lot of people don't like them, you know, because they think it's hit pieces, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was worried for you. I was like, man,
Well,
this is
and I
gonna
was
be a nasty
concerned
hit.
with
Do
it.
you
but-
think it's a hit piece show?
What's
What do you
that?
think? Is it a hit piece show or what is it?
I was
To you?
staying on red alert for that, seeing what they were doing.
alert.
When I'm on the phone, I'm making sure what I'm saying can't be spliced and put in like.
So after seeing the final product, what's your impression
I
of?
ain't seen the final product yet though. But going through the filming, and that's what I wanted to do, was see it before I started.
Wait a minute, they're gonna release it and they haven't even asked you if it's
they're
up.
not finished. We're still adding shit in.
Okay.
But
All right.
you
Very
know, one of the producers that I'm working closely with, the crew that came down to the video for the interview and the on location shots around Georgia and where your guy that the storyline of the guy that got murdered and back to the river.
They went to the bowling alley?
Yes. Yes.
Got a ball.
Because that story, that's the Dark Side of the Ring. You know that story.
Yeah.
Because they were like, that one went worldwide. We're going to mention it. Is that okay? I'm like,
Did you hesitate when they contacted you? Like, oi, I don't know about this.
Of course, once, because I had watched the Dark Side once, and it was, most everybody on it's not alive. You know, it can't defend themselves.
Right.
I thought, well, I'll be alive so I can defend myself.
Hey, you broke the mold. Congratulations.
And two, I was watching, something about one of my friends that I didn't know. I learned a lot from the show.
Right.
You can learn a lot from
Sure.
the Dark Side because they dig deep and they get truths. They don't. I mean, they're when I tell them something, they go deep and investigate to make sure
Right.
it's true as far as all their research.
Right.
They don't put up something like, well, he said that. They don't go with that. They investigate it. So it's factual. It's not necessarily always stuff that you want to know about somebody, but it's going to be factual. And like I said, I was learning things about some of my friends. I'm like, God damn, I was friends with Road Warrior Hulk all that time. I didn't even know that. Or who else did they do that? They done a few of my friends. In fact, almost all of them are my friends. Just that, like Dino Bravo, me and him were pretty good friends. And there'd been so many different stories put out on how he actually died. Why we all knew why, and we was all accurate on that. But there were different stories of why. One story floating around about that was he wasn't working with WWF no more. Yet he was in some money through what they were doing. Selling the cigarettes and selling cigarettes or whatever, knocking over the trucks and selling cigarettes. Whatever it was, he didn't have a way to explain why he had money because he wasn't with WWE, and they asked him to back off of buying. And then the story that went around for a little bit amongst some of the boys was after they told him that, like within a couple of days, he bought a 10-foot in-ground pool, which those aren't cheap. And then, that was like they just told him not to do that kind of shit, and he did. And the 15 to the head or to the gut and 2 to the head. And then even that was told differently. It was more shots to the head and a few in the body. But it was just so much, And then Dino being a good friend and you're hearing these things. I mean, I don't care if that's what he did, for a living away. That probably makes me a bad person, but I don't care if he's, stealing cigarette trucks or taking the cigarettes, stolen cigarettes and rebooting them.
I'm flexible with that one.
Yeah.
I got you.
So, Marty, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to bring you up here, and we've got some fans on the line that are going to video chat and ask you a question. You up for that?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. We'll take a quick commercial break. I'll get the chair up here.
Excellent.
Let's get his headphones up and ready. And
we really went no direction in that segment, did we?
well, we kind of did.
Wait a minute.
Right?
It's like McCartney's legendary song. We were here, there, and everywhere. We'll see you in a second.
Yeah.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com.
Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty and the Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. We're going to do a little something special here as we've got our good friend Mr. Marty Jannetty, who should and will be in the Hall of Fame eventually.
One day.
Hurry up already.
We'll be taking calls for a setup. So who do we got up first there?
Oh,
Spidey
I know
man.
her.
that's the first lady.
It's Miss Maria Davis, the first lady of wrestling. Happy Cinco de Mayo, Maria Davis.
We first met on Damn
Happy
Friday
Cinco.
show.
Yeah. Gee, thanks.
Gee, thanks.
Hey, Maria, what's happening?
Hey, what's up? Happy Cinco de Mayo.
More video just for a second and we'll get you on there. With the boys here, live and in living color.
Doing, Marty? Oh, my God.
How you been, though?
I've been really good. How about you?
I've been doing all right for a white boy.
Well, that's okay. I don't discriminate, so you
Pretty
know.
fly for a white
You're
guy?
a no-limit soldier also?
Oy.
Well,
Well, I'm
you know what?
getting
I always did.
reverberations. I'm hearing, like, skips. Is that normal?
Yeah, that's normal. You're Abby normal anyway.
Maybe
Just
you-
concentrate on your own voice. You're good.
Yeah, that's how you do. I said, I was glad that you were coming. I said, that's Sex Kitten Meow. Marty's the Sex Kitten Meow.
You're looking good right now.
Right.
Where you at?
Of course. I'm in Monroeville.
Oh, you're still up in Pittsburgh.
Now, I'm in Monroeville now. It's in Pittsburgh, but we're about like 20 minutes away from Wilkinsburg, right? I used to live in the hood, but then I upgraded.
To a better hood? You would like the Jeffersons moving
no.
on up to the east side?
To the Jeffersons. We did the Jefferson move.
Oh, Weezy.
Well, no, they moved on up to the east side.
Yeah, with Bentley as their neighbor. Oy, now
Oh,
I'm really
yeah.
dating myself. This is horrible.
How you
Maria,
Right,
by the way,
yeah.
Maria, by the way, thanks for stealing
Yes.
our draft pick. Way to go, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, sure.
Thanks for taking
Hell,
our
I can
draft
see you
pick.
better. I'm
appreciate
going to look
that.
right here. I can see you better.
Or Applebee's today. I did have a margarita for you guys.
Very nice.
I had an
One for
apple
me?
margarita,
Oh, that's
and
right.
then I had for Marty, I had a pina colada. And then for Cinco de Mayo, because I'm a mixed drinker,
Oh,
so I
is
was
that
just drinking
today?
everything. They were doing shots and everything.
Your
Yeah.
shirt says, Marty. What do you mean is that today?
Ah, damn. I totally missed it.
May
It's
5th.
not over, is it?
No.
No, they have a convention. They have a convention here, and they're doing tattoos and booze. I said, well, I already have tattoos, and I had booze already, so I don't need to go down there.
Let me see your tattoo, especially if you got to go down
Would you
there.
please?
Wait, what?
Well, you have to go on my.
It's a family show.
Well, I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it. It's on my
family show.
arm. I got one on my arm for my birthday, and I got the other two on my thighs. So if you go on my page, you can see them.
Ah,
I can see your thighs.
Yeah,
I'm getting lost on this.
I'm really shy.
Mike.
I've missed you, though. I ain't seen
I
you
know
since
you
Maradi.
do.
We said hello on Facebook here and there, but the last time I saw you was with Dan Maradi.
Well,
up there.
can I ask you a quick question since you're
Yeah.
bringing up Maradi?
Oy.
Oh God, why?
Do you miss
We
him?
miss him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you just say, did I miss him?
Do you miss
Yeah,
him?
do you
definitely.
miss him?
Yeah. I mean, we had a couple disagreements, but I mean, people do that, especially friends are going to have a disagreement, especially ones that are very passionate about what they do, and I
Right.
was big into wanting to get that podcast. You were always trying to elevate it a little higher than what it is, no matter what it is. You're still trying to reach higher.
Sure.
And he had his
Yeah, he
ideas.
always fudged his numbers. He fudged his numbers a lot. You know, that's the thing that really got me about him because he was so fake. He was cool at first, and then when
He was pretty much set in
Rick
his
B
ways, is
started
what it
his
was.
shit. When Rick B started that, shit about when I just let them know how he was treating you and Tony, then he's gonna run back and tell old fat ass departed Dan up in the sky. And I was like, so fucking what? I'm a grown woman. I can say whatever I want. Like, what are you gonna do? And then he apologized. He says, Maria, well, I didn't know. I just took it the wrong way. I said, no, you took it the way you wanted to. And I said, but it doesn't matter because, like I said what I said. And Dan said, oh, well, Maria, you're a fat bit. Your ass is fat. I said, of course. That's why I'm getting plenty. What are you
Fat
doing?
is in
Nothing.
PHAT or
Yeah,
Yeah.
PHAT, not FAT.
PHATT. Now, you've been around enough black people, Marty. You know what that's about.
well,
Come
it's
on.
supposed to be it's juicy booty now though.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just wanted to share with everybody, when you and Sean first came to the Civic Arena back in like the mid 80s, you were at
In
the Civic
Pittsburgh?
Arena. And so,
Yeah.
and I had saw you guys on ESPN when you were with Vern Gagne. And every
Did we go
Saturday, I
there?
was like,
Yeah.
who are these two good looking guys? And it was you and Sean.
Or
And so
Sean,
when you
he had
guys
double
came to
vision.
Pittsburgh, yeah, that's why I'm wearing these sunglasses now.
Yeah.
And so I went and bought some binoculars because they were saying, you got to really see these guys, Maria. They're really hot. I was
You
like,
had to get
okay. So me and
binoculars.
about,
Would you have
yeah.
spring and
Well,
fall
what?
tickets? You spring over the fence and
Women
fall on the
take
ground and watch
binoculars.
from out there.
Bro,
Yeah,
she bought
we take
binoculars to
binoculars
see
so that
you
we can do
clearer.
up and
Yeah.
close.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it actually
Seriously,
is.
Yeah.
she bought binoculars to see you.
I'm
That's
such
pretty.
Yeah.
That's
it's
pretty cool,
according, it's
Maria.
according to where you were
Seriously,
looking, you might
Maria,
not have needed them.
That's some serious.
Well,
That's
listen.
cool. Oh
No,
my
we
God.
took first of all, we went up into the Civic Arena to the nosebleed sections. So we
That's
smoked a
why,
couple
okay.
blunts and then we came back down and then we brought out the binoculars. And when you guys came out, honest to goodness, this is no lie. Women were actually fainting. And whenever they put the house lights on, that's bad. Because you guys had on your pink tights and them white
All right, we got to get the
shirts
next
you had
guest
on
on.
like above your stomach.
Can't
And you
hear,
had
so
them
you
little
gotta kinda got the
headbands
guest
on. And you guys were just trotting down there, and then you got into the ring, and everybody just went ballistic. And women were passing out, fainting, and they had to call the
You know,
paramedics because a lot of people really, I was like, oh my God. So that's when I put on my binoculars. So we were doing those up and close visual
it was
effects
pretty
on
wild
you and
back in
Sean.
the beginning. I mean, especially with them packed arenas that were in tight. What did Jimmy Cornette say? My God, they had more sex on the way to the ring than I've ever had in my life.
It's
Maria,
probably true.
Maria, that's really awesome that you did something like that. Maria, thank you for calling in. We got to get to the next caller, but you are definitely,
Yes.
definitively, the first lady of wrestling. Thank you.
Hey, it's
Love you
good to
guys.
see you again. And hit me up on the Facebook
Good
every
to
so
see
often.
you too. Okay.
Who we got, Mike?
Who we got up there, Jared?
Benny.
Benny Scala from Dan and Benny in the Ring. Benny, can you hear us?
Benny and the Jets.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Benny? How you doing, brother?
Benny, you
doing
look
fine.
familiar. Have we ever met?
We have not. Not in this lifetime, anyway.
Not in this
I wanted
lifetime.
to say that
Could've
I
been
absolutely
another
love
one.
that
To
shirt
be
that
determined
Marty's got
in the
on.
future.
I don't
To be
have that
determined.
shirt.
There you go.
I do have on a shirt that I bought at the same pro shop that Judge Smales got his hat at, though, in Caddyshack.
Okay. Okay. Benny, what do you got for Marty?
Okay.
My hearing
so,
real good.
I want to
He's
go
a little
back
low.
to the Central States time, Kansas City. What was it like working for Bob Geigel and Harley Race? And then what was Bob Brown all about?
Bulldog Bob Brown? Yeah, he was a
what-
problem child.
He was
Okay.
I fell in.
so over.
Say again. I didn't hear the last part.
Why was he so over? What was the intrigue about him?
Bob Brown.
Bob Brown was over because he was a booker. Because he would make sure he won the matches. I mean, if you just win all the time, you force yourself down to people's throat, they're going to say, okay, we like you, go away.
What was your experience in Kansas City like?
I loved it. It was the first place. It's coming in different. I'm hearing myself say it here.
I got you.
didn't
There's
hear
a
it,
little
say it
space
again.
there. Just lock in on Marty.
Getting used to, man. Gets a little get used
Just
to.
lock in on Marty. You're good.
It was the first places where I started in 1984. I hate saying it, April 5th, 1984.
Damn.
And
Long time ago.
getting the hell out of Columbus, Georgia was a pleasure. And Kansas City, there, the Missouri itself, it's right on the river. You go across the bridge and you're in Kansas. Kansas City, Kansas is right there. And I'd been to big cities before, like, let's say, fucking mirror.
Oh, pull one off. Maybe you'll be.
I did, I had that.
Yeah,
one
there you
off.
go. Go ahead.
But I've been to Atlanta. Atlanta was pretty big, as you know. That was our big city growing up in Georgia. You know, so Kansas City's a pretty big place. And the central states, all of our cities that we went to was the capital. We'd go to Topeka, Kansas on Tuesdays. Wednesday was Lincoln, Nebraska, a big place for Nebraska. Thursdays were Des Moines, Iowa, a pretty big place. It's the biggest place. And Fridays we go to St. Louis. St. Louis is very big and very. There's a lot of stuff going on in St. Louis. You got to see things you never saw before in Georgia. But yeah, and then every so often we'd hit little off towns like Rogers, Arkansas, or Sedalia, Missouri, or Springfield. But I was getting to see all these new places. I actually loved Harley Race. The guy that trained me, Jerry Oates, was a big. Harley was his hero, so I got to hear Harley stories all the time. And then I met the guy, and it was everything that Jerry said he was and more. Bob Geigel was the nicest guy in the world. I loved him to death. Working for them was great. I actually liked Bulldog Bob Brown, but it was hard to do. And if he knew you liked him, he made it even harder. But I don't know. I don't want to talk bad. He's not here no more, so it's hard. I don't want to say things about him that. He was just hard to deal with, sort of like my old partner in his younger days. Shawn Michaels, I had a lot of partners. But I absolutely loved it. And two, at the time I went there, when I got the call to go there, I was working for North American Van Lines driving a truck, tractor-trailer truck. I would drive 6, 7, 8 hours with a load of furniture, get out and I'd have to wrestle the furniture. I'd have to unload all that shit and then either deadhead back, which means no weight, or pick up a load to bring back. And I'm thinking, Jerry said that's what it was like in wrestling. I'd rather wrestle somebody else in a ring than do this furniture shit. So that's what drove me there and going to Kansas City. My first paycheck was bigger, not much, but it was bigger. It was like only $450. This is back in 1984, and I'm like, I just got the biggest paycheck I've ever got in my life. I love wrestling. All the driving, the guys hated the driving. It was like Wichita was Monday. That was like a 4-hour drive, 3.5 the way we drove. You had St. Louis across the state was a 4-hour drive. Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, and Des Moines were 3.5-hour drive. But it was fun to me. I was having a great time. I was loving it. A lot of the guys that are veterans like me now would probably hate all that shit. Like, oh man, I don't want to drive that 4-hour drive. When you was a kid, it was great because I know what girls I'm gonna see all over this one and that one, and the drive was worth it. Yeah, I know. It always goes back to that.
Girl in every port. There you go.
Marty, can I ask you a question? Not yet. I always wanted to ask you this. Do you feel that your career should have reached a higher level and,
of course,
and you failed because for whatever reason?
Do you feel you failed?
I don't want to use the word failed.
No, seriously.
I didn't reach the potential.
Right.
I had potential. Warren Sapp one time put the word potential in the best definition. You know what potential means? Ain't done shit yet. But I had so much more potential.
But is it fair to put yourself in the ain't done shit yet category? No, fuck that.
That's potential.
So what do you do with yourself then?
Oh, man. Women were always the kryptonite, but and partying. But I was doing that the whole time, climbing the ladder, the WWF and WWE. And even when we got there, still partying along the way.
Marty, regardless, reputation aside, I don't think remembering hearing that you were unreliable when it came to your schedule back in the day.
I could party.
So was it partially booking and you're partying? What was it?
Well, I'm going to tell you. When Sean and I we climbed the ladder together as the Rockers, and when it after the little fight we had and Sean kind of the friendship, we were like brothers, joined at the hip for 7 years. We rode together. We were never apart. So we get back to wherever we lived, Minneapolis, down after WWE. At one point, he was living in Tampa. I was in Orlando. Those are the only times we were apart. I was in Orlando. We rented a car together. We'd ride together. We would go eat together, go to the gym together. We'd go to the building. At nights we'd party together. We'd bring girls back together, and sometimes it was just one girl, and they were up, for a good, we'd have girls together. We did everything together. We was as close as two guys. I remember Bret Hart and even Dynamite or Davey Boy, one of them, of the British Bulldogs, came up and said, "You guys don't want to do that, not here." In WWF at the time. The tag team guys, they split, and Anvil and him, Bret, they didn't ride together, and a couple of the others didn't ride together. And we're like, "Why is that?" You're like, "You're going," because we're on the road now 300 days a year, 300 plus days a year. You're going to have problems with each other, 300, and we never did. We thought, well, we've been doing it. In AWA, he was working 15, 16 times, 17 times a month. You'd go a full month straight in WWE back then, WWF. But we never had no issues. It was just a party. Every day was a party. If we was on the road 300 days a year, we partied 290 of them. In fact, I've often said that, we would party. It's true. The boys would tell you that. We would party on Monday nights, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Come Friday, it's time to party. We're burnt out. We're like, oh, man.
Friday, I hate it. All right, so Marty, we're out of time with Marty. Marty, can you hang out with us here? And we're going to bring Val and Eugene and Nick in about 5 minutes. And, let's just have a casual conversation with them. I appreciate you hanging out here with us.
And Benny, thanks for the call, brother.
Yes, thank you. It's good to meet you, bro.
All right, guys.
I love Kansas City.
We'll be back in about 5 minutes with Val Venus and Eugene.
Hello, Marty.
Hello, ladies. Okay, let me grab
You can take your headset.
a drink or something.